today's Q&A. Can you talk a little bit about how you became involved in the film? And what is your expectation for the film now moving forward?
I hope the film will save the world. So we like to set our sights high. I guess I got involved with the film about 5 years ago, and meeting a quick funny story. I was working with Sea Shepherd in Australia, and I got taken over to this artist guy named Howie's house, who we saw in the movie. I had no idea who Howie was, but they just dropped me off there. And a bottle of wine later, me and Howie were driving over to Dave's house around the corner, and I showed up at Dave's house, and he had no idea who I was, and I didn't really know who he was. And he didn't really say a word to me the whole night. He didn't really pay attention to me. But at the very end, I put on a video, and he was kind of laying down, sort of going to sleep, and at his own party. And as soon as the video turned on, there was the sound of a whale, and Dave lifted up his head and watched the video sideways the whole way for 5 minutes, and then when it was over, he put down his head. And then I laughed. I'm like, oh, okay, that was a weird experience in Australia with these trippy surfer guys. And then a few days later, he emailed me and said, hey, you know, I want to collaborate on this thing. I'm putting out this movie, like Liquid, and can I put the video on there? And I said, that'd be sweet. And so I think that's kind of how it got going, and then just met these amazing people. And for the Humane Society of the United States, and especially at the Hollywood office, this, as you can see, is the type of movie I love to get behind, because not only can you enjoy the experience and sort of, you know, have a nice movie to watch, but it has a higher purpose for me and a higher meaning. And that's the kind of films we're looking to get behind and try to help out filmmakers in various ways, you know, whether that's just research or whether it's actually getting really involved with this. So any of you fledgling filmmakers out there, make sure you contact the Hollywood office, and we can help steer you in the right way, hopefully. And I'd like to just give a shout out real quick to some of the people that really are here. There's so many of you that helped made this possible. But Milan, my brother here in the front, my other brother Costa in the back, made this possible, and Johnny P, and Susan B, and a lot of others. So thank you all so much for being here today.
Well, I guess, you know, one of the greatest aspects of this whole journey has been the sense of community that has come into my life, which is kind of, interestingly enough, before doing this work, you know, most people would say that I've pretty much got the most amazing job in the world, that I get paid to just hang out, surf, and go to the beach and have a great time, and that's all wonderful, but there was a really deep, I think, void in my life that I didn't have a really strong sense of community and purpose. And so I was thinking back then, before I started with this sort of work, I was just thinking how interesting that is that, you know, in the eyes of our modern society, I have all these physical things, all these ideas of success have been ticked, and I'm you know, on a great path, but it still doesn't add up, and it still doesn't like complete this feeling inside me. And then we started moving with this work, and all these people here started coming into my life who were incredibly talented and passionate people, and then the circle got a bit bigger, and then it got a few thousand people bigger, and then it crossed countries, and now there's this immense feeling of community which is so commonly lacking in every country in this modern era. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, like Hannah was touching on, how when you give to this kind of work, you get it back, you know, 10,000-fold. It's so true. You know, for me, the sense of belonging and community is so vast now, and that's amazing. I have people in my life here that I would do anything for, and it feels the same way from them to me, and that's amazing, and that's incredible, because life goes up and down, and you have this constant there, knowing that you have the love and connection with everybody. So that's something for me personally that I always try to communicate with people, because it is a really amazing thing to have received from this, which was not at all in my mind at the beginning. I wasn't thinking, oh, I want to do this work so I can belong to a family of people. It just naturally evolved that way. And then also just on a more tangible level, getting to look at where these issues are at now. You know, after we were there in Taiji a couple of years ago, and word really got out in a broad sense through a lot of mainstream media programs and news reports, BBC and various other programming around the world. Since then, there's been people via Sea Shepherd and just people on their own wicket going to Taiji and being kind of like watch guards, being there watching the fishermen, monitoring what's going on, putting pressure on them, letting them know that what's happening there is not going unnoticed anymore. And that's something really tangible that's come out of all of this and is really wonderful. And a lot of what was going on there isn't going on to that same degree now. Of course, the tsunami and earthquake issues there have changed everything. So it's all up in the air right now as to coastal whaling in Japan, what's going to happen from here on out. But it is a great feeling to just feel as though you know, an abstract bunch of people like us with kind of left field skills have managed to channel that into doing something that has created some progress on these issues. I don't know if there's any questions from anyone in the audience. Yep. Yeah, actually, Hayden's been back. She went back, I think it was last year, and participated in a very peaceful gathering in Taiji, and she wasn't arrested. She came with a lot of attention on the cove there, and it went very smoothly. As far as going back to Japan, I think I'd like to, but I still am not sure of how I'd be received. There was very interesting things occurred after we left. Every surf shop along the coastline was visited by very, very dark characters and threatening anybody who had any involvement with us. That they would burn down their shops if they were working with us. Everything had to be pulled from all the shops, including just surfing posters and DVDs and whatnot. And so there's a lot of intimidation. So I've heard from friends who live there that that's not the case. The magazine just started running surfing images of me again, and it's relaxed a little. But I'd want to have some really strong reasons for going there, and I think one of those reasons would be that if this whaling, these whaling operations, which are subsidised by the government, if this is going to be continued to be subsidised by them, I think I would like to return, because that to me is a crime against humanity, to be spending people's money, taxpayers' money, on something like this instead of rebuilding their country after such devastation there this year. And that's